Let me create a. Just then. All right.
You're not. You're not. There you are.
Which way am I going now?
Here, come on. There you go. Get comfortable.
Woo! We're scooting over.
Oh yeah.
Okay, we're in. Good evening, and we are live in Ron's studio.
Hi.
That means I am in Florida. Can you guys hear us? We don't even.
Frank, give
like,
us a.
let us know.
I apologize. I'm going to be communicating on my electronics to our several thousand fans.
Exactly. We're trying a new concept tonight. We're hoping it works. We're hoping you can hear us. Let's see if let's make sure I'm going to check some settings real quick. Okay. Check. You should hear us.
It says you can hear us.
It says you can hear us, so hopefully you can hear us. Let us know if you can hear us or not.
Does the eyeball mean that someone's watching us?
Yeah, there's one person watching right now.
But it doesn't tell us who, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
We don't know. It is a curious thing. There has been a lot of breaking news this week, including that my plane landed safely. We had a little momentary wonder of if that was the case, but the brakes worked and we were able to land safely. And yeah,
there's Frank.
What's going on, Frank? So we are running late because we just had a fantastic dinner, and I have to thank Ron for hosting and creating a fantastic meal via a restaurant nearby that was absolutely incredible. So
I have no idea what he's talking about.
Yeah.
We were dumpster diving.
Yeah, it was good though. And there was a car getting towed in the parking lot as we left.
Yeah.
So, that's always a good thing. But anyway, there's been some Disney news this week, including the fact that trams are coming back.
Mm-hmm. Not trams.
Yeah, that is true. I believe they may have even started running today at Magic Kingdom because someone was posting pictures about them. There was a massive technology outage today in Disney parks, also affected Amazon, a couple of other online businesses. People that were in the parks were a little frustrated today, from what I understand. I personally was in the air, so I didn't get to see all the breakdown of what happened. But I know it was a little problematic and speaks to that technology being a blessing and a curse. It was a tough day for people from what I understand. So hopefully they get that rectified and things can start working.
Right.
Would have been nice to be there today if the reservation system actually went down and you could just go to whatever park you wanted. I would have enjoyed that. So
would they have allowed that?
I don't know. If the system went down, how would they know what your reservation was for? Because from what I understand, the scanners were down, like everything was down.
Yeah, but it still doesn't mean that they'd let you go.
But what are they going to do? Tell people that show up at the park they can't come in?
Sure.
But how? If you
can't come in.
But how do you? So you're just not going to let anyone in?
Then
they're kissing away money.
It's your word against Disney's.
But so they're not doing that. Chapek wants the money too much.
Oh yeah,
That's
speaking
right.
of Iger,
Yeah, his replacement was named it's Barbara something, that is the first woman
Anybody?
to take the creative
I have to find this out, don't I?
the creative director position with Disney.
I'm consulting with our research team to find out if they have
Yeah,
any information.
that is research team spelled Google. Google is very impressive. They're a phenomenal research team.
You know, I had people believing that we were
We-
big time, and then
Well,
you did that.
I know. I mean, we do have the other one too, the Wicca. I'm a DJ, right?
Wow.
Wiki, Wikipedia. So
And no, he
anyway.
has not been drinking.
Yeah, no, I don't even drink. I'm just super giddy to be in Florida, and I'm super excited. So what do you guys want to see this week? Because I'm going to post some stuff up on, I'm going to do some pictures and video on both the Disney Single Parents group and the Three Dads group as well. But what do you guys want to see? I'm not going to be in Disney parks. I will be at some of the Disney resorts. I am planning to visit, at the very least, Beach Club, the Boardwalk.
It's Bob Weiss.
What's that?
Bob Weiss's replacement. See, they're saying Bob
Okay.
Iger, but they're saying Bob Iger here, right?
Yeah.
But then check this.
But yeah, it made no
check
sense
Bob
to me.
Weiss.
Same thing. So it's Bob Weiss.
Steps down.
Yeah. And what's her name?
Barbara Buza.
Barbara Buza. That's right. It was a weird
Barbara-
last name.
It's an alliteration. Barbara Buza.
Yeah. But she is the first female creative.
Frank, we're
What's
only
the actual
fooling
title?
ourselves.
Creative
President of Walt Disney Imagineering.
Okay. So
We can make it more complicated if you'd like.
She's the first creative director as a female in the history of the Walt Disney World Company.
Yes.
Correct? So
No.
Walt Disney Company.
No.
She's not?
No, they've had other females. There we go.
As the director?
There you go. Look.
For that role, though?
Well, for this role, I'd have to check, but there are plenty of females that are at director level roles within the company. Plenty of them.
Oh no, I understand that,
MVPs.
but I think this is the first creative, like highest creative role in the company to
We'll
be
have to-
taken by a woman.
We'll have our team.
I don't know.
Research and get
really
back.
we'll really make some calls and have a
Yes.
creative research team. But I wanted to congratulate her regardless.
Yes,
'cause
Barbara, congratulations.
her-
We're excited to have you on board.
and her,
Please bring the magic.
yes, and her resume was very impressive. So
Frank, how was work today? We sat there quietly
Frank.
waiting for us.
Frank, how fast can you type?
Come on, Frank.
Is there a delay?
Frank.
Do we have a slight delay?
Speaking of Frank,
Be frank.
Addison had her first visit to the Big Apple and had a Say Brett's hot dog.
Oh, nice.
I know, right?
Nice. I am looking forward to my traditional food here this week when I come to Florida.
Mac and cheese.
That's Tegan's go-to.
Gotcha.
So we go to Beaches and Cream every time.
I love Beaches and Cream.
Yeah, so do I.
Ugh.
I always get the frozen sunshine, which if you've never had it, it is magically delicious. It is orange sherbet, vanilla ice cream, and seltzer.
Oh, wait. I have to interrupt for a minute. So I just found something else. There's another Bob, which you're correct. Bob Iger.
Oh, it's
is
the
being
other
replaced by
Bob
Susan
Iger.
Arnold, longtime board member.
Oh, okay.
Is going to be
the new chair.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Wow.
All right. Nice.
She's a company veteran.
That's what we
14-year member of the Disney board. She served as the independent lead director since 2018.
Very nice.
Wow. It's a broad transition in the latest step of a broader changing of the guard at Disney as multiple top leaders follow Iger out the door.
There's one of the concerns, and you have brought it up in the past on other episodes, is that the direction the company is taking right now is unfortunately making a lot of high value cast and upper level management feel as though it's changing to a direction that they don't want to be part of.
Correct.
And that kind of breaks my heart because the people I know personally that have made the choice to leave Disney in the last few months have done so with mixed emotion, but they really feel that other places are better served right now for the direction that they would like to go. And it is too bad because you're, no matter what your business, when quality people choose to leave, you really have to start at the top and examine why it is that you are losing your quality people. Someone sent me a meme today that's kind of appropriate for this. And when you go to a job interview, the employer often asks you, why should I hire you? Why do you want this job?
Right.
And now there are a lot of people that are walking into these jobs going, why should I accept it? What are you doing to have all these people quitting?
Yep.
Like, why should I come
Yeah.
on board? And it was meant as kind of a humorous twist on things, but there are a lot of companies out there, not just Disney, that are being affected by the pandemic and everything else, but people aren't staying on board, and it does make upper level management have to eventually address the fact that they're having staffing shortages and the caliber of people. I remember the Hard Rock went through this. I used to work for the Hard Rock Corporation. Um, when they were originally, before they sold their company in the early 2000s, um, they were a company that required 5 years of quick service experience to even be a waiter there. You had to have years of experience. You had to be on top of your game. You had to be the best in the business to be able to work at a Hard Rock Cafe
Right.
and deal with that kind of volume. And Disney had a very similar standard. Disney was, I remember a friend of mine who was a performer in the parades, and what she had to go through to get hired by Disney was astounding to me. To be a performer at Walt Disney World, which she wanted to do for years, but it took her years to get approved and get in and get enough experience for Disney to take her seriously and bring her on board. And it seems as though COVID has really just made a lot of companies kind of have to take whatever they can get their hands on for bodies. And with that, the quality of, cast member does take a hit. And sadly, I see people post about it. Cast members are rude, or they're not this, they're not that. They're also getting shoved through training. They're getting working extended hours. Someone posted the other day something about Traditions. How long was Traditions when you went to it?
Well, the very first time I ever went through Traditions, and that was in the 90s, it was a 3-day program.
Okay,
When
that's what I had heard.
yeah, when Traditions first started, it was 5 days, and then 3 days, and then it became 2 days. One day at Disney University, and then one day locally. That was
Now they're
on
saying,
on with the show or Welcome to Entertainment.
someone posted the other day that the hourly people getting hired right now are going through 3 hours of Traditions. I don't know
That's
if that's true or
that's
not.
well, if that's happening for everyone, I think it's without knowing all the information behind the
Correct.
decision,
And I
it's
don't,
kind of
that's why I
it's
asked.
kind of criminal. But college program and international college program went through an abbreviated version, which was 4 hours, but it
Wow.
still it still covered the non-negotiables, the salient
Yep.
points you had to
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah.
But from what I understand, Traditions, when the parks started to ramp back up, was being conducted over at the sports complex with social distancing practices in
Yep.
place. Now, I understand Traditions is being conducted either virtually, which makes to me absolutely no sense when you think about the purpose behind Traditions and
Correct.
what it's supposed to do,
The
or
connection.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
or it happens locally in the area where you're actually going to start working. And I don't think that makes sense either. But anyway, hey Frank, and yeah, by the time that he had arrived and actually got in a vehicle and got on the road, it was already pretty late into the evening,
Yeah.
which is, unfortunately why we weren't able to make a meetup happen. Not ruling it out for the future though.
Yeah, I got thrown a little bit of a dip. Our flight got delayed, and then we had some other issues before we could get off the ground in Boston. They We were supposed to board at like 1:25 in the afternoon, and they hadn't even deplaned the people that were there because they had some incident that they had to deal with, and then didn't even tell you about
And
that.
you flew who? Who'd you fly?
JetBlue, which I
JetBlue.
love.
Yeah.
Their staff's amazing. The
Yeah.
plane was great.
Yeah.
It was really, they really do take care of you. Um, and then the rental car was actually super easy, except for the fact that at Fort Lauderdale they're not in the terminal, so you have to get on
That's right.
the shuttle bus and then take
That's
the
right.
shuttle bus to the rental counter. And once I was there, I just walked to the car, jumped in it, and took off. Scanned a little QR code out the door. Super easy.
What was that? How'd that scan work?
Super easy. Top down in the car, got right out of there, and see you later. I got the flashy red Mustang.
Got right out of there and what?
Yeah, right out of there. Right out of there. Shing, shing, zoom, zoom.
Like to point out once again that
no alcohol,
no alcohol
no
has
drugs,
been consumed by this
no
man.
drugs, no alcohol. Just this is what travel does to me. Travel is my travel is my drug. Travel is my when I get to take a trip somewhere, I can leave all the stress at home and just really truly get out to enjoy and experience friends and life and do it. And I think that's a huge thing a lot of people forget to do. And I'll tell you something, as far as Disney, to correlate that to Disney, the one downside that has been a turnoff post pandemic for me for Disney is that spontaneity and that freedom and all those things are really not able to happen anymore at
Right.
Disney. Um, and that I feel bad for, especially for the locals that just want to shoot to a park after work. And the logistics of it now are just not as easy as it used to be. And it's not, that part of it isn't a knock on Disney. It's just the reality of it. Like, I understand what's going on with the reservation
Well,
system and
does
everything else.
Universal have a reservation
No,
system?
no.
Yeah, it can maybe be a tiny knock.
Okay, so maybe it's not a choo choo, but it's a little
It's not a pew
like
pew.
yeah, no pew pew. There could be, I mean, we did have garlic bread.
Oh,
There's
pew
a
pew. Yeah.
there's a small space. There's like there are some appetizers rolling in the air right now, but they were good. So it's just remnants of a fantastic meal. That's, I have to say, Italian is always a good call, though.
Once again,
Good Italian.
Brian has not had a single drop of alcohol.
Where are those waters? You got me dying right now.
Do you need a water?
Sure.
Okay.
There we go. There's a magic.
This is a real studio, people.
Ron's got the magic hydration drawer.
That's right.
It says it right on the front.
That's
I'm
right.
very impressed with the label. The magic hydration drawer.
We'd show it to you if only you could read Aravesh.
Maybe he should have a drink.
I'll have it. Yeah,
No,
I'll have a drink.
I really shouldn't, Frank.
Can you imagine? Oh my gosh.
No, you don't want to see it.
Look at how he's acting now.
People have seen it. There's a there was a comedian. I don't know. I know, Frank, you're probably old enough to remember the original Police Academy that came out in the 80s. And there was a comedian that wound up in those movies named Bobcat Goldthwait,
Oh boy.
and he used to do a stand-up routine, and he used to talk about drugs. And he made the comment once. He said, some lady walked up to me and asked me if I wanted cocaine. And he said, yeah, because I'm the guy that you need to get wired at your party because like he's already tapped. And it was hilarious to watch him say it. But there's so much truth to that, like I said, my natural high is getting on that plane. When I hit an airport and I'm able to go somewhere, and especially if I'm seeing friends or people I care about, that um, I'm not from the town I live in Massachusetts. I was brought to that town through divorce. Ron, you're getting kind of creepy.
Okay, sorry.
But I was brought to that town through divorce. So most of my
Fortunately, it was amicable. They are on the best of terms.
most of my friends are in neighboring states though. So I don't have a huge support network. So when I get the opportunity to travel and see friends, it really makes my day. And the people we've met through Disney and through Universal are just a huge part of our lives. And
And by the way, for Frank and anybody else out there, we're serious. Come the new year, come January, we're gonna start having guests on the show.
yes,
So
correct. Frank, you can come on board.
we're
We're
gonna
gonna
have some.
start a guest segment.
Yes.
Frank, you may be the guest for the first 50 shows
Heck
because
yeah.
if we have one person watching, I mean, all three of us will be on the show. Like
Yes.
it'll be crazy. You would eliminate the audience by being there, but we've got it covered. No, I think we're gonna try to start actually advertising it. We're gonna start pushing some stuff, and we want to get you guys involved. And again, that brings me to, what do you want to see? I am planning on doing the Dr. Seuss show at Universal. I am hoping to check out the Christmas parade, which I hear is amazing. Um, I saw the other day during a performance in Diagon Alley, they actually had it snowing in Diagon Alley. So
Yep.
I want to see that because that seems kind of cool.
Which house are you?
It's a toss up.
Between Slytherin and
No.
between Hogwarts and between Hufflepuff and Gryffindor.
Yep. I'm torn right between. What about you? What are you?
Well, I'm a split between. You can't tell Addison this. I'm a split between Slytherin and Hufflepuff. Yeah, because she is absolutely a Slytherin.
Okay.
Make no mistake. I mean, it's not even like, oh, I could see
Yeah.
how she could be. No, it's
Tegan's
yeah.
a Ravenclaw.
Oh, that's awesome.
Straight up Ravenclaw.
That's awesome.
And it totally 100% is her. She's definitely a Ravenclaw. I had the exact same score on Gryffindor and Hufflepuff. So
Yep.
She made me get a Hufflepuff shirt, but there's
And
just something about walking around wearing a shirt that says Hufflepuff on it that reminds me too much of HR Puffin stuff from when I was a kid, and then that just throws me.
well,
into
then
a
just
totally
wear
different place.
the colors and bound towards it.
Yeah, I'm good with Gryffindor.
Yeah, Gryffindor is fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I meant was Gryffindor. Did I say Hufflepuff?
Yeah.
I meant Gryffindor. Gryffindor is the red and gold, right?
Yep.
Gryffindor is the Florida State colors.
Yeah,
Right?
okay.
Yep. Isn't that right?
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm not a Florida boy.
Florida State. Yeah, I'll show you.
I know in Splash Mountain, however,
Rash Mountain.
there is a gopher that drops out of the ceiling that says FSU.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
No
Yes.
way.
If you're
How did I not know this?
So if you're right in the front of the Splash Mountain car and the gopher drops out of the ceiling and
Okay.
you're real quiet, it goes FSU.
You sure it's not saying something else?
Yeah, I'm positive. Although if you didn't know, you might question, but it does say FSU. And that was something we learned from a
See, look at the helmet.
VIP tour guide. Yep. So there was an Imagineer that built that was an FSU alum, and
That's awesome.
FSU.
This I did not know. There you go.
Yep, gotcha. All right.
Gryffindor.
I gotcha. I am
Chief
personally
Osceola is a
so
Gryffindor.
I have been 44 rides now on the Velocicoaster. This week I will get to 50.
I've never been on.
I may get to 50 tomorrow.
Oh man.
I may
Okay, so then
strive for
it'll be
50
my
tomorrow.
job with you for us to do 10. We'll bang out 10 together, so I can have 10, and then I'll get you to
Okay. 60, hopefully.
yeah, because you know,
I feel 60.
squad goals.
Yeah, exactly. That roller coaster, if you have not done it, is the most intense ride in Florida right now, I think.
And by intense, do you mean a ride that happens inside a pavilion or a teepee?
No,
You know,
no,
some
not in
wigwam or
nope,
pop up.
nope. I mean like hang on to your hat. It's a wild ride. It is the best coaster I feel in Florida currently. I think it's the best coaster to come out. I mean, I understand there's going to be new ones. I understand there's more coming out every year, but as far as what is available in
Right.
Orlando right now,
How do you think?
there's not a ride that is touched by and none of the new Disney stuff is going to even come close to what.
So you don't
does.
think Guardians or
Nope.
Tron?
Neither one.
I feel like the gauntlet's been thrown, but not really.
I think the reality is, and you know, you guys can tell me whether you agree or not, but Disney stays family friendly with their rides. Disney, better than Dumbo. Yes, a little better than Dumbo. Disney Disney stays family friendly with their rides, even their newest technology rides.
What's better than Dumbo?
Slinky Dog, for example, is a great coaster. It's cute, it's fun, but no inversions, no like Disney really tries to stay family friendly.
Right. That Slinky Dog actually is a fun for the entire family ride.
Correct. Tron, no inversions from what I understand, and those motorcycle style coasters, most of them don't. I don't know any that have inversions.
And actually,
because you'd have to have
if
a different safety harness.
If you think about it, though, I mean, you make a great point. The Orlando resort has nothing like that, but yet Disneyland Paris,
Rock and Roller Coaster goes inverted.
Rock and Roller
Coaster
here
goes inverted.
Yeah,
sorry, Space Mountain.
Space Mountain
Space Mountain goes
yeah,
inverted.
Space Mountain does barrel rolls.
Yeah. I personally loved at Disneyland. I loved what used to be California Screamin'. I haven't been there since they redid it to the Incredicoaster, but that was Tegan and I's first loop coaster together, and she like I have vertigo, so I didn't know how I was going to do with it. I was very fearful to get on that kind of ride, to be honest, and I did fine. And then it got me hooked on coasters, and I will tell you, Velocicoaster, it's a 90-second ride with 89 seconds of action. Like it is intense the entire time you're on it. 4 inversions, zero gravity stall. That top hat, going over the top hat in that stall, if you were in the back row of that ride, it is like free floating in space. I imagine that's what it would be like. I don't know personally because Jeff Bezos is not a close friend and didn't invite me to jump on his rocket. That sounded totally wrong.
Yeah, but you know, I only learned about it after seeing the Netflix special, Inspiration 4.
I haven't watched it.
Yeah,
I don't have
Jared.
Netflix.
Oh darn it! Forgot his last name. Anyway, he bankrolled a 3-day mission to space, and it was called Inspiration because every individual represented like entrepreneurial spirit.
Oh yeah, that
charity.
was the
Yeah,
William Shatner one.
Nope, that was different. That was Bezos.
Oh no, that was
Look it up. These people, the
3-day one. That was the other company.
Yeah,
not
that was SpaceX.
SpaceX.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The one who just received the new award for taking more astronauts to space,
Gotcha.
which I understand Bezos is a little upset about.
Well, whatever. Tegan loves that song on YouTube, Jeffrey Bezos or whatever it is. She makes fun of it all the time. She thinks it's funny. There's a Jeffrey Bezos song.
And that because she thinks Jeff Bezos is funny.
I don't know. She's 14. I don't know what she finds
Nobody
funny.
understands. Yeah.
Yeah,
If you
that's-
understand what happens in the mind of a 14-year-old, we're taking your responses on the air.
So anyway, the Velocicoaster, totally legit. Great coaster. Can't wait to ride that. Looking forward to getting to go to Boma on Friday.
Oh yeah.
Woo.
For
Ooh.
breakfast.
I am going for breakfast.
What time is that happening?
7:30. Bright and early. I want to get back over to the park by the time they open. And I'm
Universal Park?
Yeah.
I might have to come with you. Who else is
my friend James is
I'm
supposed to be
inviting
coming.
myself along.
That's okay. I think I have a reservation for 4, so I don't think it would be a problem. And honestly, it's
Because
Boma.
the girls will probably be sleeping.
You could add 5 people to
Yeah.
that, and it wouldn't matter.
I haven't been since it reopened.
But yeah, Boma's amazing.
Love Boma.
Great food,
Yeah.
great service. The selection for a breakfast buffet is really good.
Yeah, the tree in the atrium.
I haven't seen it this year.
Oh, Zowie. Amazing.
I'm looking forward to it, and going to Beach Club and going to see the carousel.
Yeah.
I'm super excited for because we're going tomorrow night. I'm doing a dinner at Beaches and Cream, and I'm getting all my mouse dining alerts.
You've heard this though, right? About the gingerbread giraffe?
Not the gingerbread giraffe.
At Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
giant.
new this year?
New this year. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I know, right?
I did not hear that.
Yeah.
That is super cool.
Exciting stuff, folks.
I have 17 text messages for Beaches and Cream
Oh,
alerts.
Beaches of Cream. Party of 2. When is that?
There's about 6 million of them.
Freaking love Beaches and Cream.
So I'm going tomorrow night.
So Beaches and Cream, naturally, as you would expect, the ice cream is really off the charts, off the scale. It is just amazing. However, their grilled cheese sandwich is phenomenal. It is loaded. It's a big, thick, delicious hunk of pasteurized cow milk and stuff.
So they have they have an awesome French dip there.
Yeah.
That's really good. The thing I love most about Beaches and Cream, to be totally honest though, is the staff. I'm not gonna lie. It is the original Beaches and Cream, if you were lucky enough to have been able to go there, had 3 booths, 3 tables down the middle, 2 tables on the side, and about 12 to 14 seats at the bar. It was tiny. The 3 booths sat a total of, I think there were 3 6-tops. So it was 18 people. Then there was the 3 tables down the middle, which were like all 4-tops. The whole restaurant sat like 42 people. So for Disney, that's a closet.
Mm-hmm.
It's a walk-in closet. And they would still have 3 to 4 waiters on or waitresses per shift, slammed from open to close, couldn't get a reservation in there. And now, since they redid it, it's even harder because it gained more popularity as people started. It used to be kind of a little hidden gem.
Right.
They did take away, in my opinion, from that 50s soda pop, like just the old ice cream scoop style diner feel.
And you're talking about with the redesign.
With the redesign, It took away from that. And now it's kind of, they tried to make it classier and a little more artsy, but there's still a 50s jukebox, like a Wurlitzer jukebox off in the corner that you're kind of like, wait a minute, this doesn't fit the motif now.
Right.
So they tried to keep elements of it, but the menu pretty much stayed the same. And with that being said, Their menu of food is amazing, but they still have some of the same staff from before. And that staff, there were just some amazing kids that work in there. Helena, and those of you that have been there and ever had Helena wait on you, she is like everybody's mother. She is just welcomes you with open arms, like welcome home. Uh, she will remember you. She will ask how people are that you're not with this time. She remembers everything about your experience there. We went after our first time there. We went back. It was almost a year later, and she said, "Oh, Mr. Bryan, so good to see you. You want your
That's
chicken
awesome.
sandwich and your frozen sunshine?" And I was like, "What?" And she
That's
remembered
perfect.
my exact order. And if you take the time to talk to the cast members and spend a little time with them, you know, Matt there is amazing. Tanao, Helena,
Yep.
Danielle.
Blake.
There are so Blake's there now. Like that was a friend of yours you knew from another
That's
aspect,
right.
but he's coordinating over there. And you know, the staff at Disney, the one thing I've learned is they all wind up, you know, in multiple roles over the years, and they go different places and they get transferred out, and sometimes they're looking for it, sometimes they're just
Yep.
asked to do something.
Yep.
But you know, the staff at Beaches and Cream, you know, Brian who's still there, and there are just so many great people that work in there that do such a great job to take care of you. Their dessert portions are huge. The ice cream's so good. If you've never done the kitchen sink, do it once.
Yes.
Tegan and I did it with friends earlier this year. We with the four of us, we didn't even touch devouring that. Um, to be honest, at some levels, it got kind of gross as everything melted together, and it has every topping and a full can of whipped cream in there. It's a lot, but it was the brownies are amazing. The ice cream's so good, and it's just so neat to have that experience. Um, Highly recommend doing it. There, for those of you that don't want to wait in line though, at the ice cream window, or if the shop is closed for some reason, the walk-up window at Beaches and Cream, and you can't get a reservation, there is also a place over on the boardwalk that has amazing ice cream. And you can get a sampler of, I think it's 6 scoops that they put in a little thing that you can get there. And the cost is actually by Disney standards, it hasn't been Chapek yet. So you
Oh
can
boy.
still afford it. You can still afford it.
I feel like 6 scoops of anything is no longer a sampler.
Probably. I mean, I need 6 scoops of Metamucil. No, I'm just kidding.
That's not a sampler either. It's something entirely different.
Just kidding.
Frank, what do you
I'm
think?
not there yet. I'm not there yet. But so this week, Ron and I both will be up in the Orlando area. We are going to be experiencing parks, some together, some doing stuff on our own.
We might do some live blasts.
You guys have family in town.
Yep.
Right. So they're going to be spending some time with family. I'll be spending time with some of my friends and visiting people. And to be honest with you all, I am going to enjoy spending some time alone.
Mm-hmm.
I am just going to get around the parks and take some pictures. And that's why I asked you guys what you want to see. Because
that's right. I got to bring my rig. Good point.
Lauren is at MK tomorrow. I will be at Beaches and Cream tomorrow night. I am going there for a late dinner. I'm going to be up in Orlando. I'm hoping by lunchtime. I think I am going to be heading straight to the hotel first to try to check in, see if I can get an early check in at Cabana Bay. The great news I heard this week is Pop Warner football and cheerleading competitions are tying up all the rooms at Cabana Bay. So it's going to be nice and loud and tons of kids running around.
So wait. Where's the great news?
Exactly. So, uh, you know, it could be an interesting week. There is a meetup this weekend for the Orlando Informer.
Right.
So parks at Universal will be closing early on Friday and Saturday night, which means I may head down to Disney Springs to enjoy a couple of evenings down there. I also may just stay at City Walk and check that out. I do have reservations at the Piano Bar for, I think, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night at the Piano Bar. So may do some dueling piano action and hang out there. Uh, Also
The
hoping,
cheerleaders are here too, Lauren said. Oh boy.
yeah,
Wow.
that's what I was saying.
Everybody has descended.
Yeah, the cheerleaders and Pop Warner, I know, had competitions going on this week.
Eesh.
Um, Someone said there was like 17,000 people as a
Ugh,
result of all that.
hurts my brain.
Yeah, that's also part of why the parks are so crazy. Um, but it's traditionally a busy time of the year anyway. So yeah, Lauren, we like I'd love to see anyone we can. Like like I said, I'm flying solo, so I'm pretty much, you know, kind of going by the seat of my pants. I didn't want to plan too much. I want to have the freedom. I do have a couple of friends down. My friend Nikki is down from Rhode Island with her family. I'm hoping to see her. And I've got some other people I want to spend some time with and be able to hang out with and visit that live down here. Some cast members, some team members, and some just friends I've made through various Disney groups. But I would love to see as many people as we can. And like Ron said, we'll slap a couple lives here and there, update after we'll do a post Velocicoaster video when I finally get him on the ride and see what his initial reaction is, because it is not Disney when you get off that ride. It is definitely
Is
not Disney.
is screaming nonstop for 40 seconds after you get off the ride an acceptable
Oh,
reaction?
you more than likely. That's if you're not passed out. Um, it
Oh, I
it
will be passed out.
it that ride. So the lady in front of us, the first time we rode,
Yeah.
she said, "Count how many times your butt comes off the seat." And she said, "I got to 13," and I had to laugh because I was like, "Who counts that?" But so I was thinking about it
Now
on the
you're doing
ride,
it.
and now I counted 13 times. And so your butt comes off the seat about 13 times on that ride. There is no shoulder harness that is a lap bar on Velocicoaster.
Oh,
The,
good.
the trippiest part of that ride is the free range of motion you have because of it only being a lap bar. And it is an intense lap bar. I mean, you feel secure,
Right.
but you have upper body range of motion, which in the Hulk, you have the thing
Yep.
here and you're like,
Yep.
and when you get off, you're like, pew, pew. What was it? So,
That's about
but,
right.
but when you're on the Hulk, you have that shoulder harness around your head. You can bang your head. You give yourself a headache. Rip Ride Rocket, that rough ride that smacks your head a little bit. Like, even though that is just a lap bar, it's the hard seats behind you. We don't have passes to Universal yet. Get on that. All right,
Hey,
we got
Janine, welcome.
Janine in Australia.
We're international again,
International
folks.
again. We got our biggest crowd ever. This is like all I got to do is go to Florida.
Yeah, 3,000 folks. Looks good. Thank you.
Yeah, Lindsay, thank you very much. It's like I said, being excited about being here. It's part of why we want to do this, and it also recharges me to be here to get more topic for the show, more in-person opportunity to see how the parks are functioning and running at various times throughout the year, because you guys are asking questions. What is it like at Christmas? Well, now I can tell you what Universal is going to be like for the Christmas season. I've never experienced it. So to, I'm super excited to be doing that. Um, the opportunities we have to do things with you guys on the show are going to be really cool. And we are really hoping to start to get more interactive with you guys. We want to bring you on. We want to
Yep.
have you talking about what it is you like, what you want to know. That's why I'm asking, what do you want to see from us this week?
Yeah.
What rides, what shows,
Yeah. But to follow up on what Brian's saying, we're in the new year, we're transcending this second dimension. We're going to bring people on board. We're going to have guest hosts on the show with us, because I mean that just makes it fun, and it's why we're here. We're here to interact.
Lauren, it's funny. The wait times, I have been super intrigued reading different groups' feedback on that, because there's a percentage of people that seem to be complaining greatly about how long wait times are, but yet there's another dynamic that seems to be saying, hey, it was posted 75 minutes, it took us 20. I think there was a thought behind the fact that people felt as though Disney may even be skewing the wait times to try to get people to buy Genie Plus and Lightning Lane. And I don't know that that would be something that may or may not happen, but
I think that's awful if that's the case.
no, I would agree, but it wouldn't shock me. But people were saying that, a posted 75-minute wait was taking about 20 minutes to get through. Tips
So
on
what
parking.
what kind of
would be a good
tips?
one.
What kind of tips?
What-
What specifically do you want to know?
Lindsay, you're trying to, so let's put it this way. Are you trying to figure out ways where you wouldn't have to pay for parking? Are you trying to figure out ways where you could get closer to, getting to the front, like,
Here,
or not paying for preferred
yeah,
parking, but
here's
having
right,
preferred
right.
parking benefits?
Yeah, yeah. There are always ways. Just bear in mind, anytime anybody publicly talks about it, and it sort of gets a fire under it, somebody at Disney gets wind of it, and
And it's going to
that goes
change.
away.
Yes. And it already has for some of the ways we used to enjoy.
And Lauren, you're correct, but it's always been that way. Where you said, Lauren, for those of you out there, said, I wouldn't put it past Disney to try to get people to spend more money. Think about it. There are actually books and graduate level courses taught on the power of
Marketing.
mercantile influence in marketing.
Yeah.
Exit Through the Gift Shop is a very famous book, and it's a thing that was established decades ago by Disney.
So Lindsay, if you don't mind paying for parking, I always try to look at my entire day, because we don't go to one park. We park hop. And that affects where we put our car for us. And it might be a little inconvenient, but I might start the day by parking over at, say, the TTC or at a resort where I have breakfast.
Right.
And even though you're not supposed to, I'll be honest, I've been one to leave my car there for a day. When I've had breakfast somewhere, I've done it. And taken a bus to a park, and then with the thought that I'd get back earlier than I do, and then I don't, and I wind up going open to close because we're just crazy like that. But if you don't mind paying for parking, the advice I give people is plan where you're gonna end the day.
Yes.
To have your car there.
Yes.
Because the last thing you want to be doing is trying to bus back to a park that you started at.
Yep.
That either may not have transportation running to it any longer if it's been closed for a certain amount of time. For example, Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom closes it, say it closes at 5, 6, 7 p.m. And then you're at Epcot till 11. Transportation usually only runs to parks 90 minutes after close. So if your car's there, it's going to become a dilemma for you to go get your vehicle. You may have to Uber or Lyft. You may have to pay extra money. So if you plan to have your vehicle where you're going to end your day, it's going to be the easiest way at the end of that day, even if it's a little inconvenient in the morning.
Now, to be clear about that, to just follow up with what Brian said, let's say you park at Disney's Animal Kingdom. They close at 7. You're at Epcot at 11:30. Um, if you find there's no transportation at all running to Disney's Animal Kingdom, you just need to go to guest relations and let them know.
Yeah.
They'll get a shuttle for you. They'll get a van for you. But I wholly agree with what Brian's saying about park where you're ending your day. For me personally, I found when I studied it that I typically will park at Epcot because it's not landlocked. You can get there by water, you can get there by monorail, you can get there by bus if you have to. So at the end of the day, it's a great way to set yourself up for success, especially because it's pretty easy to leave Epcot. When you're driving out of there, some of the parks can be kind of a challenge.
See, Ron clearly doesn't mind walking because I am lazy. So I like personally I like parking at Hollywood Studios because it has Skyliner access, it has boat access, and you also have the walkway if you needed to. And we usually end our day at Beaches and Cream anyway, so it's an easy walk out of there.
But as we both discovered,
Oh
last
yeah,
time we were together,
Skyliner and boats went down.
Yep, Skyliner and boats are impacted by weather. The monorail is not, nor are the buses. So I mean, just a thing to think about. And
We personally, Lauren, are to the point where we will never park at the TTC. I actually won't park there. We will make restaurant reservations to park at a hotel, and we'll go eat at the hotel, and we'll only do a couple hours in Magic Kingdom, and then we'll come get in the car and scoot.
It's horrible, Lauren. That's putting it gently. I think
the principle behind why it was designed is genius.
It's brilliant.
Um,
it just doesn't work that way anymore.
Correct. We have become an instant gratification society. Part of what made it so magical with Walt is it was literally an adventure to get to the front of Magic Kingdom.
That's correct, Lauren.
It was magic to get there. Now with the hiccups with the monorail going down on a regular basis, the ferry boats, jamming up, the buses having to run back to TTC sometimes because the sheer volume of people, they're not keeping up with it with the ferry boats and the boat transportation. And if the monorail's down too, that's why you've seen the altercations and the problems that are happening. People are just tired. They're on top of each other. The frustration gets up really quickly. So, we try, like I'll make a reservation for breakfast at Chef Mickey's, and then I'll go in and try to do a 7 o'clock at Chef Mickey's right when they open, and then go rope drop Magic Kingdom by 8:30, and for a 9 o'clock open, do a couple rides, knock a couple things out, be back to the car by 11, and then we'll drive to Hollywood Studios or something else. Now that you can't park hop the same way, it throws a big wrench in those plans because you have to wait till 2. So it does alter that. One of the cast members made a suggestion. The boat was the past and the monorail was tomorrow. Yeah, there is reasoning behind everything that makes sense if it's all working. But the problem is when it doesn't work now, people don't have patience anymore. Right. And Lauren, that's sadly the reality.
Lauren, I'm with you. I think the only way I would freak out more is if I got stuck at the top of Spaceship Earth, because that is a lot of stairs.
I'd be okay with that.
I mean, it's a fun tour. I've done it, but
I'm trying to think. The only ride that really made me paranoid, because I'm scared of heights.
Oh no, getting stuck on the Skyliner.
That would be me.
That would be worse. Yeah, because the wind.
Tegan's a skier. We've ridden quads and gondolas and been stuck up there for 45 minutes or an hour in sub-zero temperatures. So like sitting on a Skyliner in 90-degree heat, I'm like, look, I can stand to lose 20. If I'm going to sweat off 10, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with being up on a sky. I'm fine with that. That wouldn't even bother me. not in the least. And now they have the little safety briefcases under there. You know, you can pop that out. You got your little pee bag and your puke bag and a little glass of water, and you can take one down and hand it around, and whatever. You're good. That Skyliner doesn't scare me at all. If I being scared of heights, I would not have wanted to break down on the Incredicoaster because that's an open coaster.
Right.
And the idea of walking off that scares the crap out of me. I got to be honest, Expedition Everest would be a tough one if I was at the break in the track.
Oh, why? Really? Because it's open.
Because just with that view and feeling
Because
like
it's open.
I think I'd have a hard time. I don't know.
Because that's
I
not
may
higher.
not.
That's not higher than the apex of Spaceship Earth.
No, the top of the mountain is, but where you are in that
Yeah.
position isn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't
Take
know.
one down, pass it around. Yes.
Ex-
So, Lauren, if you ever have the good fortune of getting stuck on any ride anywhere at Disney, Universal,
me.
SeaWorld, yes, please just sit there and just maybe you can get people to do it round robin, right? Right?
Those
99 park guests stuck on a ride.
So those gondolas are impressive in size, though, because when you first see them
Yes.
in the air, you do not think they're going to be as big as they are
No.
when you step into them. The first time I stepped into one, I was like, this would cost you $2,000 a month in Boston.
But you don't also expect them to be as, good point. You don't expect them to be as warm as they are.
What? Really?
Yeah.
You think they're like overheated?
Yes.
I think I was amazed at how cool they were, because I thought they'd
cool
be
as in wow, or
cool as in temperature. Because I honestly thought that they would be much hotter.
Lauren, every time you're in a park now, every time you're on an attraction, some quiet, secretive, subconscious part of your brain is going to be praying, please break down, because that way I can sing my song for Brian and Ron.
So we have a couple of people watching right now. Have any of you ever been evacuated off of a ride at Disney, Universal, or any theme park for that matter? Have you ever had a ride breakdown where you didn't just sit for a while, you actually had team or cast members come evacuate you off the ride while you were there? We have just People Mover. That's the irony of that. To get evacuated off the People Mover makes me laugh. Like, just the sheer irony that the People Mover is not moving people. You must now get up and exercise. That's hilarious to me. That's depending where you are too. That's a long freaking walk.
Oh, that's right. You're lazy. You don't like to walk.
Yeah, I don't. That's why I love the People Mover.
Yeah,
it moves me.
Yeah, but the thing about People Mover, Norway ride, right? The thing about People Mover is there's plenty of exits besides.
Yeah, but if you're on any of the bridges, like the like between the buildings, that could be a long walk.
Frank, what do you think of the Norway ride?
You got evacuated off the Norway ride? Did they? That's the boat ride, right?
Yeah.
So was it Frozen Ever After, or was it Maelstrom, or what was it?
I don't think they ever Maelstrom, but I don't think they ever they never had problems with Maelstrom, not like they do with Frozen Ever Forever After, or whatever it's.
Boston Winter. We'll just call it the Boston Winter ride.
Buffalo Lake Effect.
Yeah, Lake Effect snow. So we actually, on the Velocicoaster, we're standing in line last weekend on People Mover. They gave us Lightning Lane passes. Okay, look, Lauren.
Oh my gosh.
Here's a quick question for you, Lauren. And it was on the old ride
Maelstrom. Yeah. So,
Lauren, here's a quick question for you. You've had the opportunity to use Genie Plus and Lightning Lane.
Ridiculous.
What is your honest view of them? I understand that particular day, it obviously didn't work out, but have you used it other days where it did work out? Because I've also heard mixed reviews on this. I've heard people say they loved the way Lightning Lane works.
Huh.
They gave us one because we got stuck. So you have decided not to purchase it.
Yes, Haunted Mansion. Ditto.
So we got evacuated off Pirates,
Yep.
which was cool.
Yes.
But we were not at a spot where they needed to grapple us over and walk us over, like detract the boat and then pull it over to the side.
Right.
We were not on one of those spots. We were at the top, right where the pitcher is, and we were literally right abutting
Oh, wow.
an exit. And then we just all got yelled at for pulling out our phones and trying to record as we were walking out. And then we were given fast passes at that time. And we sat there long enough. They gave us all 5 fast passes each
That's
because we were
awesome.
there for almost 2 hours before they moved us.
Good.
And yeah, it was
You earned that.
That was a tough one. I will not purchase Lightning Lane. I live down here, and it's a waste of money. The biggest knock I've heard on it is that people that have purchased Lightning Lane, they've had such limited availability to get their return time that it hasn't worked out to where they want it. You know, they were hoping to like start at MK and then park hop over to Epcot
Right.
or whatever. And when they get their return time, it's so late in the afternoon, it would mean they'd have to stay at MK and not be able to park hop over. And Genie Plus has I've kind of heard the same thing that, you know, when you first sign up in the morning at 7 a.m. and try to get your ride by 7:04, the times for like Slinky Dog, for example, are 4, 5, 6 p.m. at night. So you've already kind of missed that day rush. And it's in reality, if you really want to think about it, it's not much different to what the popular rides used to be for fast passes either, because they would also fill up. So in Disney's defense with this, the old fast pass system had a similar problem that, you know, the most popular rides, within only a few minutes, it was boom. When you used to have to walk to the machines, that would take longer for them to distribute, but it was still more of an inconvenience. So I'd still rather have it because I don't like walking.
Wow.
I'd still rather have it on the phone. Lightning Lane, very limited. Once you book a Lightning Lane, you have to wait till later to book another. Yeah, it's 2 hours.
You know,
and then nothing's available from what I heard.
I don't have all the information to make this statement scientific, but you know, it feels that with the increasing regimented structure that is existing at the Disney parks, you know, the reservations and the limitations on park hopping because of it, Genie and all that other stuff. And then you look at Universal, you know, you look at SeaWorld, where those restrictions don't exist at all.
Correct. That's why Disney, I would love to.
Conversely, but look at this. I feel I hear a tenth of the issues from those parks that I hear from Disney by people that are
correct. There's still a lot of people. I mean, people live in a generation right now where we're in a society rather where people just want to complain. I mean, social media, that's what it is. And half the time it's trolling on these posts anyway. It's the same old fast pass now. You pay. Yeah, you're right. You're right. People troll on these Facebook pages to such a level where, you know, sometimes you don't know if they're being serious or not.
Right.
With the things that go on. But the one thing I would really be curious to know, and you'd never get them because they'd never give you the numbers publicly, but I would love to know what Universal's annual pass sales were year over year since COVID. Because I would love to know the actual numbers, and I would love to see the numbers for Disney's annual pass sales year over year since 2019, the year prior to COVID. Because I would bet that there is a significant swing. And I know Florida residents generally hold passes at both. I do know
Janine,
that.
Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you being here.
I would be fascinated to see those numbers though. And one thing I will say that I've seen countless people post that I want to give a theme park in Orlando a little dap and a little prop and say that right now is a great time of year to go experience this park because it goes under the radar every year for the holidays and they do a phenomenal job. And that's SeaWorld.
Yep.
Um, Everybody I know that has gone there to experience their Christmas celebration, their holiday celebration, whatever you want to politically correctly call it, um, their holiday festivities are just everything I've seen. People have done nothing but rave about it.
Actually, and while Brian's mentioning that, I want to quickly throw out accolades and kudos to the Give Kids the World Village.
Oh yeah, yeah.
If you have a chance, they were
I want
featured,
to
I
try and
think,
get
last
there.
week. Same. They were featured last week in the local Orlando magazine. But they, first of all, you know where the money's going. Second of all, though, the Disney lighting designers and Imagineers were behind what it looks like now, and it
Didn't a lot of the Osborne lights wind up there?
The concept for a lot of the designs, because bear in mind that Florida heat and sun cooks those lights. They have to cycle through them. They probably have to replace them every year or every other year. But
Yeah.
you're correct. And so a lot of the techs, a lot of the lighting designers who were involved in the streets of America lighting with the Osborne spectacle are directly involved in that. And I I know people that have been involved. I think it's a beautiful display just looking at the photos. And like Brian, I definitely would love to catch it. So
Yeah, I don't
maybe we'll
know.
be able to make that
Yeah, I don't
happen.
know if we can do that this week or not, but I'd love to. Um, one of the things that we were talking about Velocicoaster earlier, and we are talking about getting stuck on rides, and we didn't get evacuated off Velocicoaster, but we saw a rollback while we were waiting in line, which is the coaster didn't make the crest
Right.
and just rolled back. And everybody kind of freaked out. A bunch of people left the line after that, which is awesome. Fine, leave. That's like I'm living for
More
that
for
moment.
me.
I'm like praying that happens. So
Right.
we were with a group of like 10 people. And when we got on our train, we all started chanting rollback, ironically, before we even left the station. And we got to the second launch and we broke down.
That's awesome.
And we sat there for a minute and I was like, oh, we didn't even make it to get the rollback, but we sat there and all of a sudden the train starts creeping backwards real slow. And then you felt it kind of lock into a position.
Yee.
And
That's a good sign.
I was like, okay, well, I don't know what's going on. All of a sudden we launched backwards on the Velocicoaster. Backwards launch from the second launch area, then rolled forward and went through the launch and made the top. Best ride on Velocicoaster I've ever had. And it was like, it wasn't our last ride. Our last ride, Tegan and I were actually in an entire train by ourselves. So Tegan and I don't scream like some people scream on roller coasters.
Right.
And when you're on Velocicoaster,
I yodel.
if nice, I belch garlic bread. So,
Excellent.
but
Hasn't had a thing to drink, folks. Not a drop.
So when we were on Velocicoaster by ourselves, what was so surreal is every time we've ridden the Velocicoaster, there are people on it that are screaming because it is a very intense ride. And when it's your first time, you're like, oh my God, it's crazy. We launched out of the bay and you could literally hear the wheels and you could hear the magnet drive getting caught under the car. Like you could hear it flushing through as you went over the magnets. You could hear every little sound. It was one of the coolest things I've ever had happen. You literally heard every aspect of the ride with no other noise. And it was surreal to have that happen. And it was at night. But if you can ever get in line at the end of the night, make yourself the last group, and then just take your time as the rest of the line makes their way up to the front and boards trains. we just stood back and watched the pre-show for like an extra 2 minutes. And then the girl was like, come on, guys, come on, come on.
Mhm.
And as we walked up, that train left, and we were the only two left in there. And we got a train to ourselves. And as we got off, a situation happened that I never knew what they'd do, but I figured it out. We were in line with a woman who was doing a rider swap with her husband. She got on the car before us and rode the ride with the group, the rest of the line. Then Tegan and I went, and as we got off, there was a guy walking up by himself.
Mhm.
And they let the rider swap ride 5 minutes after the other line had ended.
Huh.
He was literally by himself, and I got him his picture and I saved it for him and sent it to him from the ride photo. But we have a great picture where they zoomed out, and you couldn't see the whole train, but you could see 6 seats, and they're all empty except Tegan and I. So you knew it was just us in the car.
Just awesome.
But we did the same thing for him, and he got his solo picture. But at the end of the night, you get some really rare and unique opportunities. And being able to ride something like that by yourself, if you were in line 5 seconds before close the park, you will get to ride that ride
That's
as
right.
long as it stays operational. And, you know, you could be there 2 hours after park close. You'll still get to ride as long as you were in that line. And if you're the last people in line, it is a very unique and cool opportunity to ride an uncrowded ride at night and experience some really neat stuff. Like the Velocicoaster by ourselves Tegan was talking about that for weeks. Like she really, really enjoyed that. Thought that was super cool. So Ron's tired.
Why is it always Ron's tired?
Because you've been sitting here yawning.
I have not.
You may have.
I may have. It doesn't mean I did have.
You did have. Are we making up?
Yes,
I did have yawn.
it's allowed.
I did have yawn.
It's the English language. Let's be honest. When anybody learns to speak the words that we speak that people can understand, they don't learn American. They learn BBC. They learn the Queen's proper English.
Lauren, I will tell you hands down that if you can get a universal pass, especially if you're living down here, you qualify for obviously.
Yeah, they've got a Florida resident deal,
and they've got the 15-month offer right now.
No, they don't.
I believe they do.
They don't.
They don't?
Yep.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Okay.
They do have a.
Never mind, Lauren. I lied totally, but it's still worth getting, even if it's for a year.
Lauren, they have the buy one get one free if you're a Florida resident, but they also do have. They have a Florida resident annual pass, which is all of them across the board, whether it's the seasonal to the premium, are less expensive than if you're not a resident.
So Lauren, here's a quick question for you. Do you ever do like, I know you're local, but do you ever do the weekend away where you still stay at the hotels and you take advantage of the resorts? Or do you just day trip into parks and that's really it? Because I will tell you hands down, their discounts for hotel stays, you can stay at, we stayed, when was it? Memorial Day weekend. I had suites for $100, like $109 a night at Universal.
Right.
And when we were here in August, I spoke on this on another episode that Pop Century, we paid $227 a night in August to stay at Pop Century.
Yes, they are. They're wonderful.
So
wonderful resorts.
Pop Century at Disney is a value resort still. And we paid $220 a night, and I paid I think it was $224 before parking to stay at the Hard Rock Hotel at Universal.
Yep.
And got free express passes.
Not a value resort.
It's a deluxe at Universal, and had a water taxi straight to the parks or a 5-minute walk. And again, listen, first and foremost, I want to preface, I love Disney, and it frustrates me to no end that Disney is not the way it was when we fell in love with it, my daughter and I. And it does frustrate me. But they have priced, you know, I don't have a white collar. It's blue.
Yeah.
And it will always be blue. They have priced themselves out of the market for a lot of blue collar families to take a 10-day vacation or a 5-day. Now it's a day or two. You have to shorten your trips or whatever else. Universal gave us the opportunity to continue to spend multiple days on vacation and be able to enjoy something. Their prices are much better. But the kicker, Universal is like Disneyland. And what I mean by that is when you go to Disneyland, one of the things I loved about it most, because I hate walking,
It's
is
compact.
is Magic Kingdom
Yep.
and California Adventure
Yep.
are 300 meters apart in a walk. You walk across a parking lot, well, not even a parking lot, just across an entryway, and you're in the other park. There is a hotel that has its own entrance to California Adventure, and you stay on property. And their version of Disney Springs is right there at the hotel. So much like Universal, where the parks literally abut each other, and then City Walk is right in front of it, and it's all one-stop shopping. That's what I loved about Disneyland. So when we went to Universal for the first time here, we were amazed at how compact and park hopping. We park hop 10 times a day sometimes when we're at Universal.
Yep.
We'll be like, oh, let's walk over and go do Rip Ride Rocket.
Yep.
Oh, Velocicoaster's 20
Yep.
minutes. Let's go back over there. We just go back and forth.
Hop on Hogwarts Express. So
we don't even take the train.
oh, it's fun though.
It is, but there's usually a wait involved, and then that turns into 2 hours when you
the
can
great
do a 5-minute
the
walk.
great thing with Universal, Lauren and Frank, anybody listening or watching, is they're constantly looking for ways to appeal to Florida and Georgia residents. And you're talking about their value resorts don't feel like value resorts, which is to me really awesome. But things like Express Pass, the ease of access, the proximity to the parks, the cost, all of those things are kind of no brainers. And then when you look at like the premium pass, the premium annual pass for Florida residents includes, when there's no events, free prime parking and free valet parking, as well as a host of other discounts and perks. It's a no-brainer. You go to the parks 3 or 4 times and you've paid for it plus.
I told Ron, our pass, actually, we paid for both our passes, both Tegan and I, in 12 days at Universal with what we saved, just between dining discounts, the free parking, the valet, and the resort. The pass holder rates for hotels are incredible. Even this week, I'm at Cabana Bay in a family suite, and my Friday, Saturday night rate is 109. 109 for a suite that sleeps 6 adults.
Right.
It's not like a little chump change room. It's a family suite. I mean, no, it's not a suite at the Ritz. It's a value suite.
But it's still a suite.
But it's a suite. And I'm paying 109 a night with my annual pass holder rate. They had special rates for the Informer meetup. I think it was like 119 or 129. And then there's another meetup this weekend for the Jubilation celebration or something. Their rates were somewhere in the same neighborhood as the meetup, but their group rates are phenomenal. That's not even, those are just for special events going on, but they lower their rates for that. Disney doesn't change their rates really anymore. And even when they do offer your pass holder discount, it's so minimal. It really doesn't make much of a difference. It's what Universal does just impresses me.
So I just pulled this up. Endless Summer Resort from $84 a night.
Yeah.
That's going on right now.
Yeah. What they and that's why, Lauren, that's why I was kind of asking about it, because you can do some, sneak away and
Yep.
stay getaways
Yep.
even as a local, where you can enjoy a great time in an affordable manner.
Yep.
Universal, and here's the thing, a lot of people aren't fans of Universal because of the stereotype that was with it years ago, and of it being the redheaded stepchild to Disney, of it not being Disney caliber, of it not being, Universal's more Six Flags than it is Disney. Well, I will tell you,
Not
it
anymore.
not anymore.
Mm-mm.
And their theming in Harry Potter is as on point as anything in Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
And I love Galaxy's Edge. It's
Yeah.
my favorite.
No.
Favorite.
Diagon Alley.
Yeah, Diagon Alley is amazing.
That's hours of adventure.
Hagrid's queue, just the queue for Hagrid's is mind-boggling. It's so much fun, and that's the thing.
I think to your point though, I think people now are saying and being more vocal about it. They're saying Disney isn't Disney anymore.
Yeah, correct. I think Disney had the same problem that my daughter had this year, and I'm going to be totally honest with that. My daughter has a habit of biting off more than she can chew, and I think what Disney did, again, I'll put the caveat in it, it wasn't in their plan to have to do it this way. But COVID threw enough wrenches that Disney decided they were still going to try to meet their goals of what they were trying to change and go through the COVID implementation
before,
and
yep.
everything else. And when you're talking millions of dollars in changes just for COVID safety, and then add in the construction delays and everything else, but then say, hey, we still want to have this all done for the 50th and we're going to still try to charge money. Oh boy.
Hey, Lauren, your son has a lot to look forward to. So that was me just a few years ago. So
Nice.
yeah, totally into it. And you know what's awesome is they encourage it. They embrace it. It's it is and it's not. It depends how you mean. It depends how you mean it's an excuse.
I don't think COVID is an excuse, because it's a reality for everybody.
I think
And-
unless she's talking about the reason why Disney's doing things the way they're doing it now.
Well, listen, it gave them the so when they implemented the park reservation system, that gave them the sudden knowledge that, wow, this gives us a lot of information when it comes to staffing and everything else. So let's keep this.
It does and it doesn't.
But
Because
that
they
was the
can't- they-
principle behind
right,
keeping it.
Right. Before park hopping, they can't
Correct.
they can't predict the percentage of people or number of people who are gonna, and the problem is when you start to try to finesse the staffing for the day in a particular attraction, people feel that.
Oh,
They feel
God,
that
yeah.
squeeze.
But I mean, I think for the initial numbers, and really, I hate to say this, but in a company like Disney, your first shift people are your highest paid, because you're going to put your part timers, your lower end people, they're going to work the nights, because the people that have been there with the most seniority are going to want their Monday through Friday 9 to 5, or as close to that as Disney allows. So most of the people that are working those opening shifts are full timers that have been there quite a while. So they're going to be making more an hour. The payroll is going to be higher, like just surely from business logistics, And then when you take that into consideration, if that's the focal point that from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. that the people that have these reservations can't go to another park,
Right.
that allows that staffing to be correct for each of the 4 parks on that principal shift. Now at 2:00, you are 100% correct. It all goes to shit.
Yeah, but
pardon my
I don't.
French.
I think to your
Speaking
point
French.
though, I don't think it's not a thing Disney ever thought of. Disney never thought, oh, let's have 1.2 guest to every cast member, or 5
No,
guests every,
correct.
and I haven't been on any of the Disney Cruise Line ships for a while,
But
but
see what they're dealing with now, and this is another business logistics side of it. If you used to have 74,000 people working,
yeah,
when now you have 35,000,
yeah,
if you're going to have to schedule people for overtime, now you're affecting your payroll, you're affecting all the other aspects. Now
yeah.
you're affecting work morale. So what's the best way to get that under
And
control? Stabilize the scheduling system by having an accurate count every day. Now I understand they never worried about that before, but they didn't have the
but
Disney's never had the
I
level
don't
of
think
staffing shortages that they do right
I
now.
don't think they've actually stabilized it now. And to your point, your
No, but they're trying to. I think
your
that's the
maintenance
purpose
crew.
behind it.
Well, I think, yeah, you're right. It probably is how it started, but I don't think it's living up to that.
Listen, okay, so Disney is basically a politician right now. We've got great ideas, but we're going to suck at implementing them and then tell you it's all for your own good.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like that's kind of, and I hate to say it that way, but that's kind of what's happening. It's they really are trying to care about the guest. They are trying to, but
And
they're
just so
going about it the wrong way and it's backfiring. It's blowing up
just
in their
so
face.
everybody knows, neither one of us are speaking as official spokespersons for
No,
any of these parks.
correct.
This is all based on observation. I think I could be wrong. People can correct me, for sure, because I'm fine with that. But I think we've seen more rides breaking down,
I would
as the
agree.
parks have started to open up again.
But
We've
here's
seen, and I think the reason why though is because they're so horribly short staffed when it comes to maintenance teams.
I'm sure that's part of it, or supply shortages with getting parts. I mean, it could be a million things, but the other thing that it is that still has to be taken into consideration, and we talked about this a little bit at dinner, is social media.
Yeah,
Instant picture,
yeah,
instant post. Hey, Splash Mountain's down. Okay, Splash Mountain goes down every day of the last 25 years for a couple of minutes a day. It's inevitably going to happen. Now it's a social media headline because someone throws it on a TikTok that has a million followers.
right.
It gets picked up by Walt Disney World News Today, and all of a sudden Tom Corliss is sending out a Twitter or
Yeah,
a tweet that says, "Hey, Splash Mountain's down." It doesn't mean it's down all day, but that's what it looks
no,
like to the consumer. And when they see these headlines and
it's
these
bad.
clickbaits,
Either way though, it's still bad press.
oh no, 100%. But what I wonder is how much of this actually happened before Facebook and before
Yeah,
Instagram
but
and,
remember
and
the
still happened. It's just,
pandemic hasn't been a decades long thing.
no, I understand that.
The Book of the Face and Instagram,
Look at the face.
all of these
So
things
funny.
existed before the pandemic.
No, I agree, but
And
I'm
people
talking.
would post, but I think it's happening more frequently
But
now.
now people post more quickly and more frequently too, because what started when you started with Facebook, how many times did you post today? Now people are posting 64 times a day. They're
I
posting
don't have
everything.
Facebook on my phone.
Well, see, you're
Think
lucky.
it's a black
You know,
hole that sucks your soul away.
yeah, it does. I'm soulless. Thank you. You just hurt my feelings.
I
I
hardly doubt
I
that.
need
You're from
I
Boston.
need that's true. We just don't
Guys don't
care.
have feelings.
We do have feelings. We just don't care what other people
Yeah, the
think about them.
feelings are, I don't give a damn.
Those can be the feelings. That's Disney. I think, in all fairness, and we'll wrap up. This is one of our longest shows ever. Um, in all fairness, Disney is doing the right thing in their mind, but it's having the wrong effect for a lot of
it's
the
having a
consumers.
disastrous
And
effect.
and here's the other thing, and we've spoken to this too. For the people that are going to Disney for the first time, they're still in awe. They're
Yes,
still amazed.
yes.
They're still wowed by everything
But
that is Disney.
what happens, what happens when they get to what in marketing is called the mature level?
The,
When they show up
correct.
and they go, well, I don't see what the big deal
But
is of
but
spending $650 on a family of four before souvenirs.
but part of that magic with Disney And part of their marketing genius is that there will always be the next generation coming up. And unfortunately, they've kind of counted on that.
They've,
And and and
they've been
and
resting on their laurels.
and correct. And I'm not saying it's not going to eventually bite them in the butt, but November 8th, international travel opened back up.
Hmm.
After 2 years, that buys Disney 12 more months. They will be packed for the next 12 months between the 50th and international travelers finally being able to get on a plane and get the hell out of their country. They're going to be packed. And
We'll see. I think that still remains to be seen.
I'm just telling you. I mean, just as a travel agent, trying to find rooms, trying to find
Sure,
hotels,
sure.
it's not easy right now. I just looked at April for us. Can't find hotels. April.
Well, that's the tail end of spring break.
Yeah, but we're late April.
Okay.
And that's like we've never had problems getting rooms before. So I mean,
Yeah, but going back to your original point, and yeah, folks, we're going to be wrapping up soon. Going back to your original point, though, you and your beautiful daughter are diehard Disney fans.
yes.
Yet you chose to let your Disney AP lapse. Why?
Well, we didn't choose to. We were forced to because
Because
money.
yes,
Disney's platinum pass was almost $1,400 a person,
yeah,
and after my travel agent commission
uh-huh,
on my purchasing my own passes, after my commission on travel agents, and the fact that I had to cancel and rebook them multiple times, and I got a phenomenal team member that helped me out even a little more because she was so impressed with the fact that we had just kept saying we're going to do it, like
right,
this isn't the end.
right.
And we just kept re-upping our trip and moving it and trying to do it. She was very nice and gave us a little bit of a gift card and took a little cost off. And at the end, I got 2 passes for Tegan and I for 15 months, not
Mm-hmm.
for 12 months,
Yep,
for 15 months
yep,
with better discount ratios.
yep.
And we were able to do it for less than the cost of what it would have
One
been for
one
one
pass.
pass
Yeah,
at
yeah,
Disney World.
yep.
And as an out-of-stater, it's tough. I mean, we would spend 34 to 40 days a year at Disney as pass holders. And you know, when you're flying from Boston, paying for a hotel, rental car, kenneling my dogs, it cost
It
a
adds up.
lot. Yeah.
It
And I
adds up.
mean, and I did it for my daughter, and I did a lot of things that, maybe I shouldn't have done as much as I did for my daughter, to be totally honest.
Another episode.
But it racks up debt and everything else. And when all of a sudden you're looking at COVID coming in and hitting the way it did, in order to continue to have a vacation destination to go to that we could annual pass
Yep.
so that we were unlimited on our
Yes.
ability to
Yes.
travel there.
Yeah.
Universal priced itself into our wheelhouse.
Yep.
And she happened to like Harry Potter. So it was, let's take a break from Disney for a year and we'll see where we're at. And honestly, we have talked about it, and I think we will renew Universal over Disney, and we'll just buy a 1 or 2 day park hopper ticket when Tron and Guardians of the Galaxy open, and we'll go back and do our couple rides and see our friends. But our days of 10-day vacations to Disney, and unless we have cast member friends that are main gating us
Right.
and bringing us in to enjoy a day, I just can't justify the amount of money going out.
Right.
Even to buy a day ticket now for a lot of the days, if you get a park hopper, you're talking $225 a person. So for both of us to go, that's $450 for one day. That's my annual pass.
That's an annual pass.
That's
Universal.
my annual pass at the
Yeah.
other park. So what do you do? And listen, Universal isn't cheap either. If you don't have an annual pass, their tickets are similar. If you add Express Pass and don't stay at a deluxe hotel, you're going to spend 75 to, I've seen it go as high as $325 for a 1 day Express Pass, on top of having to get a ticket. So you could be talking $500 a person at the park for a Universal Day. Don't be disillusioned. I'm not trying to say that they're so cheap that, like, oh, go there, because they're not. They're still expensive, but for what they do for their pass holders, you come out much further ahead right now at Universal than you do at Disney, because Universal still allows spontaneity.
Right.
If you're off on a Monday and you're like, hey, you know what, I
You
want to
don't
go, you don't have to worry
you
about
don't
whether
have to
Magic
reserve at
Kingdom
a
has a
park. That's right.
reservation.
That's right.
You don't have to wait till 2 o'clock
Yep.
to jump
Yep.
over to the other park. You've
It's
got
not
much
it's
more
not
freedom.
it's not cost prohibitive to do a staycation.
Correct.
A lot of guests when I was at Disney,
That was
and
the
I
word I was looking for from
yeah,
Lauren earlier.
a lot of guests
Staycation.
when I was at Disney, I would talk to them, ask if they were staying on property, and frequently they would tell me no. They just couldn't bear the expense of staying on property, so they'd wind
Right.
up staying off property. And Universal makes it so fiscally appealing. It becomes a
Universal
non-issue.
does some specials too. I'm pretty sure Ametista, whatever it is, the restaurant in Sapphire Falls, it's a buffet. I
Hmm.
think on Sundays. I think it's on Sundays. I'm not sure. They have like a pass holder deal for the buffet.
Oh,
It's
nice.
like a discounted rate, but they give you a discount anyway.
Right.
And they have a great breakfast buffet. I will say, Universal's breakfast buffets, no joke, they're really good.
Yep.
The kitchen at the Hard Rock, probably the numero uno, but Amatista, I
He
think it
loves
is.
the Hard Rock though. So
I did like the Hard Rock, but we've stayed there before, so it's a little bit nostalgic
yep,
because we
yep,
stayed there
yep,
for our first trip in
yep.
2015 for Tegan. I worked for the company
Uh-huh.
for 9 years, so I like the Hard Rock mantra: "Love all, serve
Sure.
all." I like that mentality anyway. Um, and the way it was started back in 1971. Um, you know, Peter,
When Magic Kingdom
you're
in
correct,
Orlando opened.
but Peter and Isaac like just had such a great concept and the
Yeah,
way they did it,
sure.
and again, just really supportive of the company the way it was set up before it went corporate.
Yep.
And now it's a different place, but Universal just does an amazing job. They really, they don't you don't feel nickel and dime to the same level at Universal as you do at Disney right now.
No, it's true.
And even though the rides and Genie Plus and everything still winds up being cheaper than the Express Pass, it's the way it's done. It just feels like, oh, I got to pay for this. Now I'm going to pay for this. At
Right.
least it's Express Pass. You buy one thing and you're like,
Yep.
I'm done for the day.
And I love that. I love with the resorts at Universal, the Express Pass is it's part and parcel, a thing that comes along with. Universal has made it very clear. And Disney used to think this way. We want to get you into the park because we know once you're there, you'll spend money. And
Right.
once you're there, you're going to have a good time. It feels like every step of the way with Disney is focused on, hey, parking is this much. You want to park closer? It's this much. Hey, we can get you access here. We can get you access here. I think people are becoming, I think they're becoming more sensitive to that.
Well, plus, like you said, and again, Disney fans have become victimized by their own complaints
Yep. Yep.
because, Disney fans said for years, cut down the number of people in the park.
Uh-huh.
Well, what's a company going to do that wants to make money if
Pricing out.
if fans are clamoring for less people,
Price
they're
them
going to
out.
raise prices because they don't want to drop anything off their bottom line.
Mm-mm.
So if their bottom line stays the same and they can knock 10,000 people out of the park by making a 10% increase on ticket prices,
Yep.
guess what? And that's because they're taking care of their fans who complained too many people are in the park. So again, it's one of those be careful what you wish for moments, because the more you speak up and complain about it, it may not change the way that you were hoping. It could actually go the other way with the same result, but just not the way you wanted it and not a way that's going to benefit you. And that's something I think people do forget. I think people, both guests and corporate officials, have forgotten what it was all started about,
That's right.
and we both cringe every time we hear the Walt's rolling in his grave thing, because no one knows what Walt would think. Walt was a lot of things. He was a brilliant mind, but let's not forget he was a shrewd businessman. He was. He was a shrewd businessman, and he worked very hard to get whatever he did, whatever it took
Well,
to get what he wanted.
he had to remember that
No, I understand.
Mickey Mouse was created because he, through a clever bit of contracting, lost Oswald the Lucky Rabbit.
Yeah,
So
I understand.
you know,
I understand.
everybody who knows Disney knows the story, but I
When-
totally see where you're coming from. The
But when
reality
people
now,
say, "Oh, well, Walt would be singing Kumbaya," Walt would be cashing that check with the first. He would be right up there. Like,
yeah,
it's a business.
what Brian said, nobody actually knows. Everybody can armchair quarterback, but we don't actually know what he would think or say. So,
it can't roll in his grave. He was cremated for the
Yeah.
last time.
except for his head.
He sifts. He does not. He does not roll in his grave. He sifts.
You can throw his ashes in the haunted mansion.
That's
They'll
right.
love that.
He will sift forever.
And on that note,
we will say good night. We are going to go sift off to sleep.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Dad's Talk Theme Parks, where we've managed to separate you from more than an hour and a half of your time.
Yes, but thank you for joining us. And again, coming up after the first of the year, we're going to segment the show a little bit more. We are actually going to have weekly segments based on each theme park, where we'll talk about breaking news in places.
Yeah,
we will do
we'll talk about everything: the resorts, the restaurants, you name it.
We're going to do Q&As, and we're also going to bring I did a great blog, and they wouldn't publish it, the place because they said it was a little too bad. But I'm like, it was called Pooh Corner. And it was the best bathrooms at Disney World.
You know what?
And like, I will tell you,
you can do it after January, because Pooh becomes public domain. The
people that have read my blog, said it is spot on, and 100% people are in agreement. I did the best theme bathrooms, the best, cleanest bathrooms, my favorite location to sneak to Pooh Corner. We did it, but it's one of those things, when you are on vacation, if you don't know where to go to the bathroom, it can make for a disaster. So we are going to do the episode after the new year. Pooh Corner will be reincarnated.
Know before you go.
Yeah, exactly. So on that note,
howdy, folks. Please keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the train and remain seated at all times. Now then, hang on to them hats and glasses, because this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
And that is going to do it for us tonight.